Hello there everyone, and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to do something a bit different to my normal videos. We'll be predicting the World Cup group stage and the knockout stage. We've got some new teams qualified in March, I should say. Um, I needed. I was gonna plan to do it in December, but when the draw was made, but I decided to wait for these playoff teams to go and find out. Well, anyways, we've found out our teams. So we got 48 teams playing in the World Cup in the USA, Canada, and Mexico. Um, Top two qualifies, and the 8 best third place teams will also qualify for the round of 32, and then they go to the knockouts. There's got to be some debuts in the World Cup, as we've got Uzbekistan, Jordan, Cabo Verde, and Curacao who are making their first World Cup appearance. We've also got the absence of Italy and Denmark and Poland, Nigeria. So we will not be seeing Robert Lewandowski, Patrick Dorgu, or Victor Osimhen, or Donnarumma in this World Cup. Sadly, I think Poland's is the most heartbreaking out of the all. I know Thailand was quite heartbreaking. Like they shared the same points as China, but it was head-to-head records. So maybe Thailand was the most heartbreaking. Is there any more? I don't know. I think Thailand was the most, but they weren't going to qualify anyway, so it wasn't going to matter. So here is the World Cup group stage. We'll also be predicting the knockouts in this video. So let's start with Group A. I think we tap to see who gets like first. So anyways, in Group A, Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and Czech Republic. So Mexico, South Africa is going to be the hosts, which is going to be in Mexico. Wait, did I say South Africa is not the host, but Mexico South Africa is the opening game of the World Cup, which is on June 2020 this year in 2026. I'll so I would say South Korea will get last. So unfortunately, you're not making it South Korea. The Czech Republic's here because they beat Denmark in Prague, I think. Yeah, I think it was in Prague. I know it's in Czech Republic. So they beat them and they also beat Ireland on penalties. Same with Denmark in the final, where they beat them 3-1 on penalties, I believe. But I'm gonna say, I don't think Mexico's gonna get first. This is a hard group. I think they, I think South Africa, Mexico's Czech Republic will be the next round. I don't think South Korea is gonna get last. I don't fancy them. They weren't very convincing in their qualifiers in the Asian Cup. So I would say Czech Republic first, Mexico second, South Africa third, but they will go to the next round. Group B, you've got the host Canada, the playoff winners that beat Wales in the semi-finals 4-2 in Cardiff, I think. Yeah, I think it's in Cardiff, whether it happened. Qatar and the previous World Cup host. Technically, this is the kind of debut because this is the first time they're actually qualified for the World Cup. Because they did qualify last year time in 2022, but that was because of the host. So this is the first time qualified into the World Cup. And you got Switzerland. Switzerland's gonna get first. I think they got Granit Xhaka, who's been very good for Sunderland. Some other players. I know Xhaka. They got. I know. Some. Son was not going to be here. He's retired. Yeah, he's retired. So you got Colbell, who's really good. There's some other good players I know, but I can't forget them. So Switzerland, because Canada's the host, I am going to say they get second. They got Jonathan David. They got Ali Ahmed, who's balling out for Norwich City, and they got Alphonso Davies, but I don't know about his injury stuff. That's what I heard. Bosnia Herzegovina will get third. I don't know if they're going to qualify. I'll decide it later. They got obviously Eddie Dzeko. This is his second World Cup. They've qualified for the World Cup in 2014. They did beat Iran, but I think under 2014. But this time they have. I think they will be lucky this time. And yeah, Qatar, fortunately, you're going to be last again, like 2022. I mean, there could be upsets. I am going to make some surprises in this video because that's the World Cup. Can't always be all the good teams qualified. Anyway, let's go to Group C. You got Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland. This has already been a confirmed group for a long time now, so we already know who's going to be qualifying for the. Well, wait, we already know who's going to be playing in Group C. I want to say Haiti is going to get fourth. That's I can probably, and Scotland's going to get third. That's probably going to be my guarantees. Well, won't actually be a guarantee, but for my prediction, it is a guarantee. But I'm going to make a bit of a bold prediction by saying Morocco's going to get first. And that's because Brazil's not. I know they have Carlo Ancelotti as manager, but they're not like very convincing in the World Cup qualifiers and the Copa America. Brazil will get second, Scotland third, and 84th. I know but anyway, so Brazil. I don't know about what I said, but I'll talk about Haiti later. But Brazil, yeah, they have some injuries going on, and also not all the teams will take this group stage seriously. And Morocco, I think they are a very stacked team. They made an admirable run in 2022, making it to the semi-finals, being the likes of Portugal and Spain in the knockouts, and Belgium in the group stage. Drawing with Croatia, actually topping over Belgium and Croatia. Impressive. Then they lost. They lost to Croatia in the playoff, like the third, fourth playoff. But they still had a good run. So yeah, that's why I put them. Haiti, they have Wilson Isidore, who plays for Sunderland. They just appointed him, and Belgrade or something like that, I think, who plays for Wolves. I don't know if that's how you say it, or I know that there is a Wolves Haiti player there. Scotland, I would probably say they qualify, but I don't know. Scotland might make an upset, but I think they obviously have probably the best game of 2025 for football when they qualify for the World Cup over Denmark. The Seeds were peak, the Kenny McLean goal, the Scott McTominay goal. Yeah, he did score. Yeah, I think it was Scott McTominay. I hope it's Scott hit it on right. And then you got obviously the Tierney goal. And then there's another player as well who scored, but I forgot him. But there was 4 goals. Anyways, let's go to Group D, where we've got the host USA, who will be playing Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. Turkey beat Kosovo in Kosovo 1-0 to qualify for the World Cup. I actually thought Kosovo might qualify with the way they beat Slovakia, but I think Kosovo will make it into a tournament soon, like what Georgia did in the Euros in 2024. Turkey, they've got like Arda Güler and Yilmaz in this, so I am going to say Turkey will get first or second. I feel like the USA will get first, and Turkey second, and then I think Paraguay third, Australia fourth. Australia, I don't see anything from them. Same with Paraguay. I don't think any of them is going to make it to the next round. Well, Australia obviously will, but Paraguay, I think they'll be one of those 4 teams that won't be making it to the next round. Hopefully, I'm wrong with some of these my predictions, but yeah, USA. There's probably a lot of controversy, but I do think USA will probably top it because I think that the hosts will probably do some home advantage will do something. Anyway, Group E, you got Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. Curacao will get 4th, I think, but it's not going to be as easy as you think because Curaçao's actually it's a rising team, so I'm going to say they'll probably get some good players from like Netherlands now, and they'll probably just convince them to come and join. It's the same with Haiti as well, some other countries. So I think Curacao won't be this World Cup, but maybe if they qualify for the next one, they will probably go further. But I'd say they get 4th. I am going to go a bit of an upset. I will say Germany will qualify by finishing 2nd. I'm going to say Ecuador gets 1st. Because, well, Germany's been grouped 2 times in the World Cup. And Ecuador's actually a really very good defensively. So maybe in goal difference, or Ecuador might win 1-0 against Germany. I don't think Germany's going to win all because Ivory Coast is also good. Speaking of Ivory Coast, I will think Ivory Coast should be in the next round. Yeah, I think that they will have enough points. This is kind of a group of death, because Ivory Coast, Ecuador, and Germany all have very good squads. Curacao maybe in a few years they will as well. So yeah, there is a lot of hope for everyone, but only 2 or 3 could get to the next round. So I will say that. Group F, you got Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, Tunisia. Tunisia is going to get 4th. Is all I gotta know. Unfortunately, Sweden obviously qualified for the World Cup by beating. Well, they beat Ukraine. Well, it's not really away. Yeah, it was away, but it wasn't in Ukraine, obviously, due to the war. 3-1. They beat Poland in Stockholm. I think it was Stockholm. 3-2. Which unfortunately means no Robert Lewandowski in the World Cup, but we'll get to see Alexander Isak and Victor Gyökeres in the World Cup, as long as no one gets injured. Sweden, I don't know how they're allowed to do this. I know they had a very good Nations League, but they finished last with it could even beat Kosovo, like at home. So I don't know how are they allowed to be here. But Sweden will get 3rd. Netherlands, Japan. Japan's going to be a really good team, I know. They'll probably, if they don't face a huge team too soon, they will go quite far, I think. I'm going to say maybe Netherlands will top, or Japan 2nd, Sweden, then Tunisia. So basically the group order. Okay, let's go Group G. You got another confirmed group a long time ago. For some time. Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand. Well, Belgium's topping it, so we don't need to save any predictions on that. Egypt, I think we'll get 2nd. I know Mo Salah's not having a good season, but anyway, well, I think he will do something. And I'm going to say, make a bit of a shock. I'm going to say New Zealand gets 3rd. Unfortunately, I don't think it will be enough. I think the New Zealand's. I think Iran might not want to might just want to get out of the country due to the war going on in the Middle East, obviously. So I feel like Iran might not take this World Cup that seriously. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna say New Zealand third. Unfortunately, it's not gonna make a difference because I think they'll both be out. Yeah, not much to say about this group anyway. So let's go to Group H. In Group H, you have Spain, their debutants, Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. Spain will top this group, and Cabo Verde, unfortunately, I don't see anything promising. Well, I mean, there is promise, but I don't see anything intriguing going on right now. Probably next World Cup they'll do some. That might be something intriguing going on. But I will say they get last, unfortunately. Just like Curacao or Haiti, they might do better the next World Cup if they qualify, but not this time. I'm gonna make a bit of a shock. I'm gonna say Saudi Arabia gets second. They have, well, between this and the last World Cup, their leagues in like they've invested so much money. They got like Ronaldo and Benzema even playing in their league. So I'd say they get second. They're gonna, yeah, I think their infrastructure is getting very good. This is like Morocco basically, but I don't think they're gonna be like what Morocco's doing right now. I think there's a bit of a difference. Uruguay will be third, but they will qualify for the next round, so it's fine. They will probably get a harder team to face, but yeah, I don't. But that's the World Cup. You got to beat the hardest to be the best. Let's go to Group I now. You got France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. Iraq's gonna get last. That's a bit of making it one of my guaranteed predictions. Fair play to Iraq because they, I think, had the longest World Cup qualification ever. According to what I've heard. They also had struggles go to the World Cup qualifying against Bolivia because of the war in the Middle East, which also cancelled the finalisma between Spain and Argentina, which made a lot of fans unhappy about it. But it was supposed to be Qatar, but yeah, it got cancelled, fortunately. Hopefully, this war will stop as well. But let's go off the politics though. I don't think France is going to get first. I think it's going to be goal difference though. I'll say Senegal, France, Norway, but Norway is qualifying for the third round. Not third round, round of 32, being one of those 8 best teams. Yeah, Senegal, France, Norway. Norway qualified over Italy, which is really impressive, winning every single game, and obviously they scored 11 against Moldova. They had Erling Haaland, who scored like basically half the goals in the World Cup qualification. France, you've got Mbappe, Dembele. Unfortunately, no Ekitike, he's injured and won't be back for the rest of 2026. Senegal, you got like Sadio Mane, who's definitely going to be in this World Cup. He got injured last time, so unfortunately he couldn't make it. But yeah, this is probably kind of a group of death. Other than Iraq, this would be the group of death. Same with Group F as well. Group E is kind of a group of death as well. And this is Group A is also kind of a group of death. It's really strong teams. Anyway, Group J. I will make Argentina. We got Argentina, Algeria, Austria, Jordan. Argentina will get first, and Austria second. I think that's gonna happen. Austria's first World Cup, just like Scotland and Norway, in like 1998. I think it was the last time they all qualified. So it's nice to see them back in the big time. I'm gonna make a bit of an upset, and I'm gonna say Jordan qualifies for the next round. I think Jordan, ever since the Asian Cup, Well, it's supposed to be 2023, but it moved to 2024. Ever since that, I felt very convinced with their team. So I feel might make an upset here. I don't know if they'll qualify for the next round. But yeah, no. Anyways, Group K. I don't know. Uzbekistan fourth, DRC third. That's what. Well, I should introduce the countries actually. So we got Portugal, DRC or DR Congo says, Uzbekistan and Colombia. DR Congo. This is a second World Cup. Last time they played, they were known as Zaire, and yeah, they didn't do really well. We didn't really play good. So hopefully they can improve from that. Portugal, you've got Colombia. Portugal's the last remaining Nations League champions. Uzbekistan, you've got Kusanov in Man City. I'd say Colombia will get first. Portugal second. Yeah, Congo third. They beat Jamaica in the playoffs. I think DR Congo is one of those teams that are getting more players from like doing some, they're persuading the players to join a team if they have like any any nations descent or something like that. So yeah, I think DR Congo is gonna get third. Uzbekistan is the first World Cups, and I think they're just gonna enjoy being in the World Cup. So that's why. Group L, you got England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. I think Panama's gonna get fourth. I don't see many players. They also struggled in their World Cup qualifying. They were very close to. We could have seen Suriname in this group if it all played out. No, they weren't part 4 though. No, they would be part 4, so we would be seeing them in the group. England will top. Ghana, I think will make. I'll make a shock and say Ghana will qualify for the World Cup. Then Croatia will get third, Panama fourth. Now we're gonna pick the 8 teams. South Africa, Ivory Coast, Norway, Uruguay, Croatia. They'll go. I'd say Scotland will go. Sweden should be able to go. And Jordan did. I'd say maybe Jordan might do it. Here we go. This is the round of 32. So all I need to do is just predict who would win in each game. Starting with, in Boston, Ecuador and Scotland. This is a very open match. I think anything could happen. I will favour Ecuador though to go to the next round, where they play either Senegal or Sweden. I think Senegal will qualify for. So either Ecuador or Senegal will be in the quarterfinals. I think. I might make. I think I can fancy my underdog story. I'm gonna make a bold statement. Mexico's gonna qualify with Canada. But Canada made a good run though, because they had better teams. They had to face a better team. And Netherlands will knock out Brazil, which we just know Brazil will have to go home early. Yeah, so one of these teams will be in the semi-finals. Morocco, Japan. This is a really cool game because Japan, Morocco, they should be really good for the higher. Not higher. What would you say? They should be going more further, but unfortunately, only one will make it. Morocco's probably going to make it. and Germany or France. I think France will make. So got a repeat of the World Cup semi-final in 2022. The Czech Republic, Uruguay. Do I say I'll make an upset? I don't know what. I mean, I think there'll be something going on. I'll say the Czech Republic will beat Uruguay, and England will just pass Norway to be in the round of 16. You got, well, Portugal will win that, obviously, against Ghana. Spain should beat Austria. Ivory Coast will beat the USA. But I feel like Ivory Coast could go in a good, quite far in the competition. Belgium will beat South Africa. Obviously Argentina will beat Saudi Arabia. I know Saudi Arabia did beat them in the 2022 World Cup, and everyone thought so Argentina were going to go out early, but they won the World Cup instead. Turkey will go to the next round, and then Switzerland, Jordan. Switzerland will make it, and Croatia will continue their run. For this game, I'm going to say Ecuador will beat Senegal to go to the first quarterfinals in their history, I think. I don't think they've ever been to the quarterfinals. They've been to the round of 16 once, and they were quite close last time. So I'll say Ecuador to the quarterfinals. I think the Netherlands will edge it here. I think that I'm going to make one upset here. I think France and England will go and play here in the World Cup. I'll be in Miami. Morocco will they could do it, but they are much better now. Well, I think France is even better than them, so that's why. Same. I mean, the Czech Republic, this is a good run for them. I'm just saying. Round of 16 is not bad for the Czech Republic in the World Cup. Actually, it's not bad. It's quite good actually, because I think even qualifying for the World Cup was good enough for them. But anyways, I think Czech Republic round of 16. They even qualifying would be amazing. This is second World Cup, so maybe next World Cup they will go further. Probably win it. They were finalists, but that was when they were Czechoslovakia at the time. Portugal, Spain. This is a hard game, one to predict. A big game, really big game, just like the France and Morocco. I feel that Portugal's gonna do it. They did beat Spain in Nations League on penalties. That's why I think Portugal's probably gonna beat them. I think like Ronaldo, they're gonna try and do whatever they can for Ronaldo. Speaking of, I think we're gonna see another upset, but yeah, they got a lot of good players like Vitinha, Nuno Mendes, Conceição. So I think they're gonna do it. And Bruno Fernandes. Ivory Coast, Belgium. I feel Ivory Coast is actually a really good team. They're very good in defence. So with that in mind, I would say they'll do an upset, knock out Belgium. Now Ivory Coast is in the round of round of 8 or quarterfinals. Argentina will beat Turkey. I think Switzerland's journey will come to an end with Croatia going through. I gotta make an upset here. Well, these should be an upset. Ecuador, I'd say maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna say they're gonna do an upset against Netherlands. Netherlands also very good defensively, but they gotta be an underdog story happening. We got the Morocco in 2022, Croatia in 2018, Costa Rica in 2014, Ghana in 2010, Ukraine in Ukraine in 2006, Turkey in 2002. South Korea was quite controversial, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. So there is underdogs. I think 2026 will be Ecuador. And, well, Portugal's gonna... I think Ivory Coast will win here. Ivory Coast should be very happy with what they've done. If my prediction's correct, the quarterfinals is really impressive for them. Knocking out Belgium, that's also really impressive. They knocked out someone else, didn't they? Never mind. I forgot who they knocked out, but they did also knock someone else out. Okay, Argentina will beat Croatia, that's all I know. France, England's going to be a difficult one. This is kind of a repeat of 2022. Remember the Hurricane missed penalty, all these stuff going on. France, I think this is a hard one to think. I think England's not ready yet. I think they should focus on the 2028 Euros. So I'd say France will go to the next round. So either Ecuador and Portugal will go to the final, which is going to be the first final ever. Unfortunately, Ecuador's run's going to end here. Portugal to the final, and then Ecuador will be in the third place match. France, Argentina. This is a repeat of the World Cup final 2022, and I would say France is going to get their revenge. Although it's not going to matter them anymore for Messi since he already won the World Cup. But oh well, Argentina's going to get third. Portugal, France. Going to be an exciting match. And after all the wait, hard work, and I'd say Portugal's winning the World Cup. Portugal first, France runners up again. They lost a lot. This is the second time they've lost the final. That's going to be really heartbreaking for them. Argentina third, Ecuador fourth. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you later.